Greetings, everyone, and welcome. October the 14th, 2025. And you know it, I know it. Now, Trump confirming that Vladimir Putin wants war, and the world is playing with matches. The so-called Tomahawk talk flooding media right now, and rightfully so. Zelensky on the way to the United States. For now, it is a psychological operation. It is a signal. It is not a strike. But signals can change fast. And the moment politics, pressure, or paranoia collide, this psychological operation could turn into reality. And when it does, this game will change. So this is why I'm going to lay something out for you guys tonight. And I look forward to your comments, because until Tomahawks are in Ukraine, until Taurus are in Ukraine, it's a psychological operation trying to see how Moscow will respond. Everything. And I'm not saying it's an intentional psychological operation, but that is what we are having as a result. That is why I suggested yesterday that this is going to be one of the most critical weeks for the war in Ukraine that we have seen so far. Had no idea at that point yesterday what would happen with the mayor of Odessa. So just a little while ago, President Donald Trump was speaking at a press conference with Argentina, and he spoke quite a bit about Ukraine. And this is where I believe there is an unintentional psychological operation going on. Of course, the same rhetoric. I'm disappointed with Putin. There's been 4 years of war. Putin looks terrible. Putin's lost 1.5 million. Putin must settle it. You know, there are lines for gas. People don't have gas. But I want to see him do well. I think he's still my friend. Yet, he does not want the war to end. I have to give creds to Ukraine. Once again, everything is Biden's fault. And then he's questioned about the Tomahawks. And he makes a statement to Argentina. We have lots of Tomahawks. Argentina, do you want some Tomahawks? And then he closes this section about Ukraine as anything can fail. I believe you have an unintentional. I don't think he plans for this or those around him. I do not believe that competence is there, but we have unintentional psychological operations going on here. In addition to that, now something that was planned was the United States releasing images of the Tomahawk mobile launchers this week. Of course, this is all happening on purpose to see the Russian response. That is where we're at. Now, let me get you straight to the clip, and let's see what you think about this.
Could you preview your meeting with Ukraine President Zelensky on Friday? You expect to talk about weapons? Is there going to be a package?
Interesting meeting going on. Look, I'm very disappointed because Vladimir and I had a very good relationship, probably still do. I don't know why he continues with this war. This war has been so bad for him. He's going into 4 years of a war that he should have won that war in 1 week. He's now going to soon be into his 4th year. He's lost 1.5 million soldiers, probably, close. Certainly in terms of wounded and no legs and no arms.
I just picked up on something that I didn't earlier. And listen, this is a video I'm putting out for your opinions. He said he's entering into a war, almost into the 4th year. It's going to soon be the 4th year. I would prefer to hear he's trying to get it to 4 years, but it's never going to happen. We're going to stop this war. But no.
All the things that happen in horrible wars, it's a horrible war. That's the biggest thing that's happened since World War II in terms of death. He's got to really settle this war. And you know, they have long lines waiting for gasoline in Russia right now.
Now, here's the big difference. During the campaign, I'm going to end the war. 24 hours, I'm going to end the war. 2 weeks, 3 months, 100 days, it doesn't matter. I'm going to end the war. But now you have heard him say, Putin must end the war. You see, there is a shift, and that is why I think understanding has come to Washington, D.C., that they really do not understand the war in Ukraine. I mean, that was even admitted with Trump talking about Witkoff a couple of days ago, sending a completely unqualified person to sit with Putin for 5 hours. That's a brilliant idea. And of course, that's why we have what we have. The only one that's competent to sit there is Keith Kellogg, and they kicked him out because he speaks Russian language. Now, you can see how this is unfolding from I'm going to stop the war to Putin must stop the war. So that pushes the envelope to where we have to start talking about Tomahawks or Tauruses from Germany. We have to talk about the Pearl program tomorrow, more information coming on that. And we have Zelensky on a plane imminently heading to a meeting to discuss Tomahawks straight out with President Trump. Keep listening. It gets interesting even more.
They have long lines. Who thought that was going to happen? And all of a sudden his economy is going to collapse. And I'd like to see him do well. I mean, I had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin.
You know, his economy's going to collapse, but I still want to see him do well. No, wrong answer. He must be defeated. It's simple.
But he just doesn't want to end that war. And I think it's making him look very bad. He could end it. He could end it quickly. And I have to tell you, I give credit because who would think that Ukraine could have fought Russia for 4 years to essentially a standstill? Now,
you see, it's the rhetoric has shifted, and I'm trying to draw your attention to it tonight. Also, with how it comes into it's like a recipe here. The rhetoric is changing. The weapons talk, selling weapons, trolling on Russia's economy. Oh, there's gas lines. It took you 4 years and you're at a standstill with this little teeny nation, Ukraine. You're such a weak, that's what he's communicating, but he won't say it because Putin's still my friend and I want to see them do well. But here you go.
There has been some early, before they knew what the hell was happening, because it happened quick. Biden should have never let that happen. That's a war that should have never happened.
Knew that was
but
coming.
It did. But it's not making Russia look good, I will tell you that.
Really? Tomahawks in Ukraine?
We'll be talking about Ukraine, yeah. I mean, I have the president coming in on Friday, and I know what he has to say. He wants weapons. He would like to have Tomahawks. Everyone else wants Tomahawks. And we have a lot of Tomahawks. Tomahawk is do you need any Tomahawks in Argentina? Anything can fail. Anything can fail. You never know. That's why I say Putin should do something about the war, because so far, I mean, it's turned out to be very bad for him.
This is why I'm calling this a complete psychological operation, and really unintentionally. I don't think the skill is there to conduct that type of operation out of D.C. right now. So it's easy to see what is unfolding, and this is the week where many things are going to come to a head, and we're going to see the responses from Russia. This is all, of course, coming out while they're sleeping. It'll be interesting to hear responses in the morning, but Zelensky to D.C. on the 17th. They're going to be meeting about weapons and Tomahawks. And tomorrow, Matthew Whitaker was announcing today, and people misunderstood it, where they thought he was saying America's sending these new weapon packages to Ukraine immediately. No, he was saying more nations were getting involved in the Pearl update, the Pearl prioritized Ukraine requirement list, this joint operation by the United States and NATO. Big update on that tomorrow as more nations are getting involved. So this is a transitional week, as we have said, but in my opinion, those statements floating today, and especially the Tomahawk talk right now, it's psychological operation, but it could change in a New York minute. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, and commenting. I'm looking forward to see what you think if you have a similar viewpoint. Thank you and be blessed.